So tonight's episode of Raw, we found out who and what is going to be the main event for WrestleMania 42 between Roman Reigns and CM Punk. I think this show really, literally, outside of this and maybe the Gunther stuff, I think this show was probably it was okay as far as that goes. But like the Roman Punk stuff, I thought was the best stuff on this show and the best stuff that both guys have done within the last calendar year, because Roman Reigns is obviously the 2026 Men's Royal Rumble winner. And of course, there's been a lot of talk as far as like, does he actually deserve it? Should we crown somebody like Roman Reigns a part-timer as the Royal Rumble winner? And as far as who he was going to select, whether that was going to be McIntyre, whether that was Punk, there was never a doubt in my mind that that was going to be Punk, because Drew against Roman at WrestleMania 42, like it doesn't fit right now. Had we gotten that maybe last year, it probably would have made a lot more sense. But you know, we got this back and forth promo between Punk and Roman where they really got, you know, knee deep as far as their beef and their history, as far as Punk bringing in Roman and the Shield, and Roman claiming how all this, you know, WWE now is so much greater because of what he's done and his influence. And he calls out CM Punk for manipulating him and Paul Heyman last year at the War Games event, and so much back and forth where you can literally tell that both guys are in their element as far as like, because Punk, there's been times where I'm not going to say he phones it in, but he definitely, you know, it's not up to CM Punk standards, right? Like I'm talking like his feud against Jey Uso, right? His feud against Braun Breaker. Sometimes Punk will kind of mail it in because it's kind of, you know, easy for him. It's an easy match or whatever. Same with Roman. Like I remember when Roman was going up against Bronson Reed, he would just constantly just, you know, yell dumbass and, you know, Paul Heyman is a dumbass and this and this. So it's nice to see that both guys are actually verbally sparring with each other, and there's no Seth here, there's no Heyman. It's literally just two guys who think that they're better than each other, that want to be the best and want to prove a point to each other and to everybody else that they are what they say they are, and they are what this company deserves and needs. So I thought that was a fucking grade A, fantastic. You know, this is what we need from both guys moving forward. Whether or not we get Roman moving forward as far as full-time capacity, or whether or not we see him a lot going forward, I feel like, you know, I don't want this to be just a one and done, as far as like we'll see Roman once here and then we'll see him after the Chamber and then we'll see him once before WrestleMania and then that's it. Like we deserve a proper feud between these two guys to carry us into WrestleMania 42, because they have to strike a home run with this feud and with WrestleMania in itself. We also had Gunther here literally choke the life out of Dragon Lee, who was AJ Styles' tag team partner, AJ Styles' former tag team partner. Gunther came out here and literally trolled the entire audience here, thinking that AJ Styles was going to make an entrance here, when Gunther all of a sudden comes out and says AJ Styles, you know, he took care of AJ Styles, etc., etc. And then Dragon Lee comes out here and literally, if I had to leave you with one image, it would literally be Gunther having Dragon Lee in the chokehold over the ropes, and this guy is just dangling there like just just like a fucking feather or something. Like this guy is completely done for. He's completely out of it. And Gunther, you know, I think this is probably the most heat I think that we've seen Gunther have within the last month or so. I think the Cena stuff, like him tapping out Cena, I think people were a lot more indifferent as far as like they just didn't like the result. I think the whole AJ stuff, like if you're gonna have some sort of heat, I think this is probably the best thing that you've done as far as giving heat to Gunther. We also had Liv Morgan here officially set her sights, I would say, on Stephanie Vaquer. There was a match between Stephanie Vaquer and Raquel Rodriguez, in which Stephanie got the win here. Liv did say though that she was going to go over to SmackDown and sort of, you know, scout the competition over there as well. But I think it's clear, it's obvious that we're either going to get a Liv Stephanie thing at WrestleMania 42, or possibly maybe Raquel gets involved and she, you know, challenges Liv, or she finds her way somewhere into that mix as well. We also had Braun Breaker here in the, you know, opening segment here, essentially hold up Raw. He calls out Adam Pearce and they get into a screaming match. And there's been a lot said as far as what Braun Breaker is doing at WrestleMania 42, who the masked man is potentially. There's a lot going around as far as that goes. People saying maybe it's maybe Adam Pearce against Braun Breaker at WrestleMania 42. I kind of highly doubt it. I still believe that the masked man is probably going to result in being Seth Rollins. I don't think physically Seth is the one under the mask right now currently, but I think eventually it's going to be revealed that it is Seth Rollins. We also had the return of Nikki Bella and Brie Bella here, the Bella twins, officially back in the tag team division. Don't be surprised if these motherfuckers end up going to WrestleMania and take the titles off of Io and Rhea. I wouldn't put it past them as far as them actually doing that. But one thing I will say though is a few weeks ago, Nikki Bella was a heel. Now all of a sudden she's a babyface. It's a little counterproductive. It's a little counterintuitive as far as what we're doing here. And unless I'm missing something else, these were the major talking points from Monday Night Raw. Again, outside of that, CM Punk, Roman Reigns stuff, this show was kind of just there. Again, hopefully they start to heat up everything, considering we're literally in fucking WrestleMania season. You got to step your shit up considerably now because we're in the thick of it. But post your comments down below. Let me know what you thought of tonight's episode of Raw. And until next time, I will see all of you on the next one.